This is, Ron Howard once again grappling with the behemoth that is the Dan Brown nov. And it's Tom Hanks returning as Dr. Robert Langdon, who is he's a symbolologist. He's a symbolologist, isn't he? Anyway, so as I sat down to see this, I sat down next to James King, and I sat down with actually with a little bit of skip in my step, because I thought, Tom Hanks has been so great recently, and it is entirely possible that if you go back to Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, which were a while ago, that they may not have been as bad as I had sort of made them out to be. Somebody had tweeted me a review, a link to my review of Angels and Demons, and I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten so much about it. Particularly, I'd forgotten the preposterous skydiving pontiff's ending, which meant, the first one was people running into darkened rooms and pointing at things in the dark, and I remember shouting, "Turn the lights on, no one can see what's going on, no one cares." In the second one, it was people running around explaining the plot. So in the first one, they ran, stopped, and explained the plot. In the second one, they kept running whilst explaining the plot, and the lights were turned on, and it ended up with, do you think there's any possibility that thing about you having a pilot's license is going to come in handy at the end? I wonder. Oh, look, we're all up in the air. And so now, okay, Inferno. We start with the good news. He's lost the mullet. Fine. So he's had a decent haircut, but he's had more than a haircut. We start off with some sort of visions of the apocalypse. Okay, visions of apocalypse stuff. And Bob, wakes up in a hospital. He doesn't know where he is until somebody pulls back the curtain, and he finds out that he's not where he thought he was. He thought he was somewhere else, but he's actually he's Florence, Italy, probably. And he's got a bullet wound on the side of his head, and he doesn't know what's going on.
Really?
No idea. He's got amnesia. Okay, so he can't remember any of the explaining that's been done up until that point, and probably nothing but explaining had happened until that point, but he's in hospital with amnesia. Luckily, the doctor is Felicity Jones, who's fab, obviously, but then somebody comes in who's dressed as a policewoman, but she's trying to shoot him, right, which is terrible, right? So they have to run away. He's very ill.
Do they explain as they're running?
Wait. Yes, they run. What's going on? They say to each other. What's happening? Where shall we run to? Let's jump on this bike and then this and then run away. Now we run away to your apartment, like in American Werewolf in London, which always happens. And they get there, and then Tom doesn't have anything to wear except for the hospital gown. Luckily, she's got a set of clothes that he can put on. But then
he puts on her clothes.
No, not her clothes. Somebody else's clothes. Oh. And then he finds some stuff, and then he finds a machine that's got a map of Dante's Inferno in it. This is going to need a lot of explaining. Here's some.
3 days ago, after 2 years of searching, I found Zobrist. He killed himself, but we took a package from his pocket.
And what was in it?
The Faraday pointer with the map of hell. A puzzle specifically designed for his follower to solve. We brought it to you, and we were in the process of decoding it when you were kidnapped. You were with Dr. Sinsky at the time.
Elizabeth, yes.
Did she tell you about any third-party interest in the virus?
I don't remember.
Did she have financial problems?
I don't know.
Did she carry more than one cell phone?
I don't know.
The Gilded Museum, is that St. Mark's?
All of Venice is a museum. St. Mark's has the horses of Constantinople, their bronze statues.
Can I see that?
I wouldn't touch it.
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, so basically that's as explaining as you're going to get out of the plot, because what's happening.
Could you go back, just explain the horses of Constantinople?
Yes.
What have they got to do with it?
Well, you see, because what's happened is, right, there's a guy, and he's very rich and angry and cross, and he's somehow connected with a virus, which is probably bad, okay? But the clues to the things that he's going to do that are bad are in works of art and religious places all around the country. So what must happen now is that Tom Hanks and Felicity Jones must run from country to country, and they must run into churches and art galleries and point and look and explain and have a look at maps of hell and explain that, that demon's the wrong way up, and that's got the number 4 written on it. But if you turn, because what's happened is that as this plot has been laid down, clues have been laid behind in order to, so that were somebody deciding that they were to attempt to foil the plot, which may or may not be happening, because who knows, because it's all strange and mysterious, they would be able to follow it by doing basically the observer book of art. So in the case of the particular horse, as you mentioned, the first thing that Tom says is, has the horse's head ever been removed? Funny you should mention that, because they then managed to grab a tour guide who says, well, it's interesting, the horse's head has indeed been removed. And that, would you know it, is another clue. Here's the thing about the film. Firstly, it is intergalactically stupid in the same way that Gods of Egypt. I mean, just mind-pulverizingly dumb. Despite the huge amounts of, higher heart references in it, it is a film of lowest common denominator stupidity. It has a script that appears to be a collection of outtakes from QI of people, people discussing that, did that, and did that, and did that, but the bits that weren't funny and didn't want to go in the film. It is a film in which, as exactly in Dan Brown's novels, although I haven't read this one, I started reading the Da Vinci Code and just thought, Dan, has nobody ever explained the interior monologue to you? People don't have to say things out loud all the time. In this, they do. So literally, both Tom and Felicity, who's a doctor, but is very interested in Dante, knows a lot about Dante. As they run along, they explain, who was Dante? Well, he was a this, and then he wrote the Inferno. Dante Inferno, what was that? Oh, it was a description of hell, and it had all these different layers in it. Really? And how did he do that? And then he wrote the thing on the thing, and then, now we must go here, we'll go to this country. I'm now running into a room, I'm running out of a room, I'm doing this, constant, explaining the plot. And the audience are sitting there going, what? Why? In what way is this dramatically interesting? What is dramatically interesting about it is it's a film, the script for which is so telephone directory-like that neither Tom Hanks, who is, generally sort of pretty brilliant, nor Felicity Jones, nor Irfan Khan, who's actually terrific, but he's hardly in it, only a little bit, can manage to make this stuff sound like anything that's even vaguely sensible. You get the sense that the apocalypse is coming, and I had the sense that the apocalypse, frankly, could not come soon enough. I started off being slightly entertained by the sheer preposterousness of it, and then very quickly bored by the just barraging travelogue nonsense about, where are we going to go now? Oh no, now he's got a mask and somebody's written something in it, but he's written it upside down and back to front, and the nose of that horse is pointing to north, so therefore now we're going to have to go to another, and then there's going to be a train, and then we're going to go into another bit, and there's going to be a thing, and while it's happening, and then there's a twist. And all I can say about the twist is, if you didn't see the twist coming, that's because you were asleep for the first 2/3 of the film, because when the twist comes, it's honking, stand away from the platform, because there is a large twist arriving on platform 4. Here it comes, there it is, signalling from the bong, 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 bong. Here comes the twist, and there is the twist. It's rubbish. It is really proper, full-on balderdash. I don't think it's going to find an audience, which I think the other ones did. Why and I love Tom Hanks.
Why would this one not get an audience if the other ones did?
Okay, because the first one got an audience because everybody was interested in the Da Vinci Code.
Yes.
Because everyone went, oh, Mona Lisa. And then
there are some bookshelves which consist of
Dan Brown, James Herbert.
No, they would have Gone Girl. They would have
Girl on the Train,
and they would have the Da Vinci Code. The success of those books is that people who don't buy books bought those books. Mm-hmm. So therefore, Da Vinci Code.
So what you're saying
guaranteedly huge.
Yeah, Da Vinci Code is basically a book for people that don't read.
No, I'm just saying there are books. It's a statement of fact.
Hello, said Robert Langdon on the phone. This is Robert Langdon, the friend that you have known for the last 4 years and whom you met in college, and blah 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 blah.
I quite like to have that conversation.
That is exactly what it's like.
Sometimes can't you forget who people are? Someone bumps into you and says, "Oh, hello, Mark," and you think, "I've got no idea." Wouldn't it be useful if all scripts were done by the screenplay, whoever did? Well,
it was David Cohen, but it's not his problem. I think I mean, as I said, I haven't.
If someone bumped into you and said, "Hi, Mark, I'm the guy who you met 3 years ago when we were on a TV show together," and you remember you said that thing, and you go, "Fine, I now know who you are." So life needs to have all the explanation of an Inferno script. That's what I'm saying, and life would be more easy.
Yes, and life would be a lot. I mean, the point was, at least Angels and Demons was funny.
Oh, it's not better than Angels and Demons.
No,
it's worse than Angels and Demons.
Yes, I like Angels and Demons.
Well, Angels and Demons
was terrible,
but it brought our friend out of a coma.
Yeah, because it was terrible, and it was runny while explaining the plot. But then it was runny, jumpy out of whirlicopter. Look, parachuting pontiffs. I'm sorry, that's what. At least I've waited 2 hours and I've got that. Parachuting pontiffs and antimatter.
But you don't.
No, now you've got, and Tom Hanks keeps saying, my head hurts. And you're going, Tom, I know how you feel. He said, I can't remember what's going on.
You
Tom,
should be sitting here.
None of us can exactly.
All right.
It's rubbish.
Is that the end of it?
Yeah.